Hello, my dear ones. I hope this video catches you guys cooking and not food. You know, we're getting ready to move. Obviously, the shelves are bare. Had to put a few things. Found this little notebook someone gave me. Isn't that cute? Move that limp. For all of you out there that are fighting serious health issues, you simply have to only learn about 3 things and you can turn your whole life around. Not the medical community, not naturopaths, you. Turning your world around. And I don't care if you're in the bed just sucking on the last breath of life. I've had people that we put in herbs and fruit through feeding tubes and everything else and pull them back into the physical life. So you want to make sure that's what you want, right? The first understanding is so vital, and it helps you to understand why the concept of diseases has never been answered. And that is, if you do not understand that the human body comes packing with a sewer system that no one understands. Now you're sitting on the right of truth. The lymphatic system is simply your sewer system, and it's a major system. And this system includes both kidneys, bladder, includes the mucosa. You'll see when you see our new site where our new herbal formulas are coming out. I've got this all broken down into systems and which system includes which tissues. And don't forget the mucosal tissue. The mucosal tissue is mucus, and mucus is not part of the blood system. It's part of the lymphatic system. It's a viscous, very oily, cholesterol-based type of fluid. Why is that? And the second thing you have to understand is that chemistry only has 2 sides to it. There's your base or alkaline side and your acid side. Just simply learn what each side has to offer you. Right? What does acids have to offer you? Right? What does bases have to offer? What's their job? What's electrons? Protons? Keep it simple. But in learning the simplicity of this, you will learn also how the universe is put together. So then the last final thing you have to learn is simply the nature of foods that you're eating. Are they acid-forming foods or are they base-forming foods? Everything's chemistry, so you can use those 2 sides of chemistry basically to address everything. And this includes emotions and this includes thoughts. You either have alkaline thoughts or acid thoughts. And acids would be your negative, wouldn't it? And your alkaline would be your positive, absolutely. In chemistry, they like to call negative positive. Your protons are the positive side, and your electrons are the negative side. But in reality, the female is the positive side of bringing life into the universes. So. Now, what young lady drew this tree of life up? So this is Mia. And Mia, are you 11 or 12 years old, I think? Pretty good. Dear Dr. Morse, I am very thankful for all you have taught me and my family. There is not enough words to express how thankful I am. I have never been happier. Thank you. Love, Mia. P.S. The picture I drew is a picture of Grace. She is my tree. I think this is tree. She is a very lovely. Here, I enjoy talking to her. Thank you again. So this is Grace. Now, Mia, I'll share some things with you. And some of you guys would probably think I'm a fruitcake anyway. But I've been out of body quite a bit. And in my earlier training, I've been back to plant life, consciousness. They took me back to a time when I was actually an apple tree in that consciousness, and I was dying and becoming a peach tree. And I was so excited because I knew that the experiences I was going to learn was going to expand me even greater. And it was just a natural phenomenon. I didn't have any thoughts of anything else. Now, that sounds crazy as heck until you're in the experience. And then it becomes these experiences are very lucid, meaning very real. When you start getting closer to the Godhead, your experiences are more real than you hear. Matter of fact, if you're out of the body enough, you don't really see this as reality anymore. This is a place you have a body and you're visiting and experiencing, but it isn't home. So I've been through different plant lives. Of course, as an herbalist and loving botanicals, I get into the consciousness of the plant. I want to know, burdock, who are you? What about Oregon grapefruit? Who are you? Right? What about plantain? You know, you sweet little thing, who are you? Learning them, feeling them, understanding a little bit of them. And the only way you're going to do that, what book are we going to get that tells you? The divine book of life. So to know those things, you have to step out of the way and listen. Because if you're there and you're either a know-it-all or you're using your mind a lot, trying to figure things out, you'll keep hitting walls. Because your mind is a conditioned instrument. If you haven't conditioned yourself or learned this in some life, So all life has this, and we've talked a lot about this in spirituality, and if you keep it simple, just like health, keep it simple, and then you understand things better. The complexity can come whenever you want. If you're an intellectual, if you're whatever, you can get into the complexities of whatever you want. But if you lose yourself in the complexities of life, see ya. And that fits an old saying that the seeker of God never finds God. What? I'm seeking. Surely I'm going to find what I'm seeking sometime. What if what you're seeking is right here all the while? That the seeker is the very thing that they're seeking. And that's just what it is. You are the very thing you're seeking. But what keeps you from knowing that? And that's these three bodies that you're using, and we'll just keep it simple at three bodies that you're using, excuse me, while you're enjoying your experiences in creation. And you're in the physical realm. Whether it's on this planet or another one, you have a physical body. All these beings from all these planets have physical bodies. But they also have emotional bodies, and they also have the mind. So we have the mind, we have the emotions, and we have the physical body. And I've talked a lot about when you're healers, you've got to look at all those three bodies when you're looking at your patient or client. Because you could do everything right in the physical side of it, but the emotional side be so whacked that what gland is not going to respond well, no matter how hard you work on it. Emotions, adrenals, astral. And so, as an individual trying to get well, let me give one big piece of advice, especially if you're an advanced case, you got serious acidosis, tumors, whatever. I'm going to say that one of the big keys here is to do the Buddha thing. And you could say the Christ thing, and you could say, you could go right on to Enoch, you could go right on probably to all of them. Let go. Detachment. What does detachment mean? It means you don't care about the outcome of something. You're going to experience something, but how much you care depends how much it's got you around the throat. Notice if you don't care, it doesn't bother you. As soon as you give a darn, right? So if you want to know the ultimate, you can't care for the finite. It's already in cycles of movement and all this. So remember, those three bodies are the bodies that you have to work with before you get to you. But wait a minute, you're there all the while. So all I have to do is quit using my mind, quit using my emotions, put the physical body at rest, and then what do? Then I'm having out-of-body experiences. I'm seeing more of who I am or being more of that. And the fun begins. All right. It looks like they've filled the boot. So let's see what we got going out there. But Mia, you're a sweetheart. And at 12 years old, there's so many great 12-year-old young people out there that is amazing at what they know, what they learned. And you moms and dads that are getting into health and fixing yourselves, you're bringing in these higher beings, I'm telling you. And I've already talked to a lot of you moms and dads, and you know it already. That's pretty cool. Finding out some answers from a soul that's already been in places. You know, that's why you always keep the spiritual channel going and try as a mama to communicate with this being before it's born. Oh, yeah. There's plenty of women that's done that in Ekankar. Oh, yeah. You know, communicate with the being so you know exactly what's going on in this life and know what this being is here for. That's cool stuff. There's all kinds of stuff you can open up and become aware of and have fun with and, you know, all kinds of stuff. But talking about plant life, when you're in the human level, you can't go back. If you go back, you know the experiences are very impacting on you. Because when I was I was way back into the plants, and I couldn't hardly breathe. I had claustrophobia so bad I had to pull myself out fairly quick. I couldn't handle it. And you have to be careful with going into certain states of consciousness when you've already been through that and you've developed yourself into some of these higher levels. Going back isn't always a fun thing to do. Some of you who've ever had past life regressions can know what I'm talking about. Right? Okay. This is a question via Marco. Marco. Who's Marco? You mean the Marco. My 18-year-old was diagnosed with generalized clonic tonic seizures alone. Wow. Wow. He had his first seizure at 12 years old. He's never had a vaccine. Okay, so he's never had a vaccine. So we can rule that out, thank God, as I'm against him. However, he was born premature by 3 weeks. Yeah, but 3 weeks. But when you're having seizures, you have to look at a couple things. Number one, you're going to look in the eyes and see if there's nerve rings, right? That'll help you to determine the level of the adrenal function, because at a certain level of when your neurotransmitters are low, your parathyroid is low, so your calciums are low, or even with the adrenals and magnesium, you can have seizures with your magnesium calcium ratios off. Manganese too high can seize. You've got the autonomic myelin sheaths can get so low that they can be very agitatable, so to speak. You know, you get these people, you know, that sort of thing. So the first thing you have to think about, especially a young person like this, is kidney and adrenals for several reasons. And when we were looking at these three basic principles, one of them, the middle one, is chemistry. And there's only two sides. So when someone says chemistry, most people go, I'll see you later. Yeah? No, relax. Keep chemistry simple. It can be complex, but if you learn the simplicity of it, and then learn the elements, you can build and build and build, but that's not what I'm concerned about. Simply learn the effect that acids have and the effect that bases have. And then ask yourself, what do you see in the world of diseases? Chemistry? Of course, because everything is chemistry. But you also see this incredible lymphatic system so misunderstood, along with the food side of this so misunderstood. They don't realize that the diet of humans have been super clogging their sewer systems. And now, most of the world is in trouble lymphatically. You've got tumors growing in babies. Everybody's got either a polyp, a tumor, something, a nodule or something. You know, and so it's very rare to see someone that does not have lymphatic problems. Very rare. So understanding the acids and the lymphatic system can show you then the effect upon the nervous system, the effect upon the blood system, the effect upon each and individual endocrine gland, the individual effect upon the organs. Then you understand how the seizing can happen, and then also the adrenals and mineral metabolism. And I know with Pat and I have been going around this, but I did see that. And where did I see that? Was that on the endocrinology side or somewhere? That the adrenal glands actually produces 23 mineral corticosteroids involved in zinc, selenium, iron, all the metabolisms of the minerals as it is in the sugars. So I don't know, it's enough to say that. And as Pat says, physiology just, it's good, but it doesn't know everything. And that's what you have to understand. And this lymphatic system that we brought out, very key. Very key that you understand that your body has elimination needs, and that the elimination needs are between digested foods, right? And whatever leftovers that's going through, that's your poo-poo. But then you have cellular waste. Now you have a whole bunch of little people in your body. You have what, about 100 trillion? Anywhere from 80 to 100 trillion, they don't know, little people or houses in your body. How does chemistry affect them? In every way, shape, or form. It affects the fluid in the cell. It affects, dang. Sorry about that. It affects the ability of cell wall permeability. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on how pH factors can affect utilization. It affects everything. Maybe even absorption to a certain extent. So the pH factors, the chemistry factors are everything. Well, when you put out a table, you go to a buffet, that's all chemistry. That's all chemistry. You got your dead animals over here. You got your cooked vegetables over here, your salads over there. But it's all chemistry. And understanding that certain foods are acid ash foods. They leave an acid effect up in your body, and others leave an electrical or an alkaline effect in your body. Which do you think is going to be the best? Because you have to understand, on top of that, every cell has metabolism. So in other words, there's utilization or metabolism in the body of chemistry, right? Of sugars and minerals and all these things, of salts, all kinds of things. And there's going to be byproducts coming from these. Where does all these byproducts go? Well, medical doctors brainwash the massage therapists in believing that all this stuff just washes back up through the venous system again and then recirculated in the body. When you really think about it, it's pretty stupid, pretty asinine to even think that the body can reuse waste. It's not that level. Now, if you're a breatharian, we can have a conversation. So, how does your body get rid of waste? Well, let's see. We go to spas to sweat. And skin. Yeah, that's a good face. That's obvious, right? So sweating is really... Oh, wait a minute. That means you might have a little bit of a fever. Uh-oh. Can't have fevers. That's not good for you, right? See, the stupidity of the medical community is you have to realize they're not into health. And they should be made to eliminate that word. Because it's the naturopaths that are into health. All the paths are into treatment of symptoms. There's no health with the treatment of symptoms. Even if you suppress the symptom with a pharmaceutical, your problem is still there. And that's where the true naturopathy, where you address causes instead of symptoms, makes a hell of a lot more sense, don't it? Because you see what happens in the world of treatment, especially all you psoriasis and skin people and all this. You see what that leads to. And what tumor you suppress tomorrow becomes twice as big or 3 or 4 the next day. All right. However, premature, and spent a little time in NICU and had medicine there. See, this is the thing that and she brings up a good point here. This is the thing you don't know is the pharmaceuticals and the side effects of the pharmaceuticals that these people give to our children and our babies, and they and even I feel sorry for nurses too, because they assume that these pharmaceuticals are gross, right? No, they don't work like we work in the botanical world, where gross is generally regarded as safe. Pharmaceuticals aren't generally regarded as safe. Are you kidding me? Even the least has some kicks to it. So you don't know if that's it, whether it's neurological, some chemistry that he's ingested. However, the road to Wellville and getting out of seizures includes the fruit diet, because it is fruit that addresses the nerves, the nervous systems. You've got neurons. These are the highest energy systems of the body. Why would you... And to look at that, and to look at the vibrations, that's what's really cool to me, because if you look at the vibrational difference between glucose and fructose, then what's amazing to me is that the body can convert a lower consciousness sugar, glucose, into a higher consciousness sugar. How is that possible with chemistry? But still... we want to step behind the chemistry of things and look at the awareness behind it. Wow. It's just amazing. So the fruit is the key, no question. So one of the things I'm always going to say is get you or your children on fruit, berries, and melons. If you have to do some steamed vegetables, if you have to do some cucumbers, if you have to do some guaco, I mean, however you want to play that, fine. But you need to move, because when you're looking at seizures, all stops are out. This is not a good thing, right? Right. So fruit. What'll bring on a seizure is going to be proteins, acids. They're going to bring on a seizure. And it could be, some people could be so sensitive that even an acidic emotion could trigger something. I mean, Through his youth, he did have occasional antibiotics and meds for strep. See, so the fact that he had strep, we know that his lymphatic system is really backed up, and especially up here in the head area. So there begins the problem. Do we have cerebellum, mastoid weakness genetically, ears? What do we got going on in that level? Where's the parathyroids and calcium? Because you got low parathyroids, your ability to see is going to be there, right? Either calcium, magnesium, manganese, all three can cause seizures. A lack thereof or too much. Maybe not too much calcium, but you don't want that. He had no other major health concerns until this year. He needed to have his shoulder repaired from getting his arm caught in a chair during a seizure when he was alone. Excuse me. Okay, so you're pulling me toward the parathyroid. All right. After the one at age 12, he didn't have another for about 1.5 years. Then 8 months. Then we had a bad year at age 15. Interesting too, because this could be related. I mean, as you get to 14, 15 in a male, your testosterone levels start to go up, right? And when testosterone is what? Alkaline or acidic? Acidic. So same with estrogen, right? So the balance to these two are going to be your progesterones, which are alkaline. Yeah, there you go. See, so you can see how that works in chemistry, back and forth, right? So if that would be the case, then your son is just extremely acidic with very low myelin sheath strength there, whatever you want to call it. When he made poor choices and started vaping, oh no, oh yeah, okay, same thing. He started vaping at 15, nicotine, and was causing way more seizures. Oh yeah, oh hell yeah. But now you know that it's an acid that is acidic. But it always is. It always is. This is life. Acid, base. Foods divided up into acids, base. And then you have a lymphatic system and a blood system that deals with base and acids. Blood doesn't deal with acids. I can't even believe on one side a medical doctor is concerned about the pH of your blood, and on the other side, y'all just let the body dump all the metabolitic acids back into the venous system. Oh, strange connection there to me. I don't know. See what you guys think. So, yeah, that makes total sense now. Absolutely. But you know what? Again, check your son's adrenal glands, blood pressure, both sides. Take a picture of his eyes. Wait, we got a picture here, I think. We got them both. All right, so we know it's a brown. No, it's a blue eye. All right, what's all this white up in the sinus areas, right? Mucus. Look at the malabsorption. It's got a big malabsorption ring. And look at this bowel wall here. All this thick white around the interstitial. And looky here. Look, do you see the distance between the pupil and the top here is smaller than here? All right, so you got prolapsing going. So let me take a quick look. I won't tie people up. You're getting into a heavy subacute stage of lymph stagnation interstitially in the gut wall. You very defined. You have he has a lot of connective tissue weaknesses in the gut, and then a prolapsing of the transverse bowel. So got a lot of colon problems, and where the appendix is, does he still have his appendix? I mean, it's looking pretty inflamed. You almost have a tumor there. It's almost. You got a little deterioration in his right hip at his age. You got to be careful. There's a lymph stagnation around that spot that wants to deteriorate in that left hip and right hip. Excuse me. If I go over to his right leg, his whole right leg is weak genetically, particularly upper femur and knee. All right. So immediately, I'm going parathyroid, aren't you? Well, let's look at the pituitary too, right? We got to look at both of those. That's the only thing you got to think it's outside. I got nice eyelashes. All right, right side, minor pituitary, parathyroid, major. Major parathyroid. Look at here, left side, this is a nice lacuna. Look at that. Oops, right there. Individually weak right there. With some thyroid with it, but parathyroid for sure. Here we have a little bit of a pituitary weakness. You're going to want him to take parathyroid. I do 10 milligrams, 1 a.m., 1 in the evening, BID. Because that's going to be a real a place that you want to look at is calcium utilization with him. That'd be one of the first things I would look at. So his calcium and magnesium are off. Also upper neck here, got a weakness left side upper neck, upper T-spine. Matter of fact, all down his back is. So when we're talking about skeletal tissue and connective tissue, we're seeing prolapsing, we're seeing weaknesses in the skeletal system, and then we look at the parathyroid, and bam, right there we have it. Now, the left side, stronger leg, a little bit better hip. The adrenals are specifically weak. Kidneys are not too bad. You got, a little spot of chronicness in the left kidney, but not too bad. Adrenals are definitely on that borderline of chronic. I don't see any nerve rings per se. That means it's more of a mineral or a toxicity problem. I'm just showing you these eyes again, just so you see them. That should be all beautiful light blue eyes. Now, what else do we see? What's this? Scurf rim. So it's a skin ring. So if he's not filtering, he's not sweating well and eliminating through the skin, how is this young man getting rid of his waste from the cells? It doesn't look like he's getting rid of them very well at all, does it? So that's the problem. His eyes will start turning more yellow if he doesn't address the lymphatic system. Well, being that you're dealing with seizures, you're going to want to address the lymphatic system. Number one, that's kidneys and adrenals. So you're addressing the adrenals because you're addressing the sodium-potassium pump for the kidneys, but you're also addressing neurotransmitters for the myelin sheath, even though I don't see really any nerve rings, which can rule out a little bit about the autonomic. So I would be more in favor of looking at the calcium channel, for sure. That is a problem. But also look at chemical toxicities. If you have a chemical toxicity, a neurotoxicity, and I remember a chemist was in here and we were talking about that, and he told me he thinks now there's over 2,000 neurotoxins in the air, or that man has produced 2,000 or more, probably 3 or 4 by now. God. There are some lymph nodes. This is the right eye, so it's going to be the lower chest wall near the spleen. You got a little bit of spleen weakness going on here, but here's a lymph node. See that little white spot right there? Yep, there you go. That's right chest wall. But this lad's got fairly good genes all in all. And it's not heavy lymphatic, just all around the gut. Heavy around. Isn't that funny how you see this so much in iridology, how the eye might not look too bad, but the gut wall, that thick wall. So you got to address his parathyroid for sure. There's too many prolapsing problems in the bowel. Almost like he's got a lot of diverticulums, wanting to make pockets. Okay. Definitely want to get rid of vaping. Anything that's smoke. No. But nicotine, what the hell are you talking about? But Does your son need energy? Does he feel like dragging? And he doing it for energy or just because everybody's friends are doing it? Because you want to check his blood pressures. Let's see what his blood pressures are, both arms. Now, what's that tell you? Your top number is your adrenal glands, right? Systolic, that's your neurotransmitter punch, basically. And your bottom is your kidney health. See what you got. 120 over 60 is textbook health. You start getting above 70, it's too high. You start getting below 120, too low. And a lot of these young people like this have 80 or 90 over. Now, I don't see the nerve rings in your son, so he probably has a better blood pressure than that. You're generally going to see a lot of nerve rings when you see low blood pressures. Let me see. All it did was, let's see, we didn't know, so put him on kept upping the dosage. All it did was make my son depressed and very angry. Yeah. Never stopped seizures. They got better once we caught the vaping and made that go away. But it just shows you that this is a stimulated or an acidic event, which most are anyway, but that's when you want to start looking at the acid levels in the young men. The lymphatic system is the regulator of that, truly, but also ingestion and stuff like this, of course. We didn't tell the doctor, but we weaned off the pharmaceutical, and I got my sweet-natured boy back again. To hell with medical doctors. Who cares what they think? You know, you're put on a pharmaceutical and it's not doing well, take yourself off of it. You don't have to wait to ask some clown whether you, because they don't know. You know, when you stick someone on a pharmaceutical, to me, you have the obligation to follow up on that. Oh, I got cases. I can't even tell you I got cases. I know. Just unbelievable. This one poor lady came in one day, she going to the social doctor. Oh, and he put her on some type of diabetic med. Well, she's not a diabetic. Well, then she'd go into blood sugars and go into almost a coma. And she's sitting there and she said, I said, what the hell are you doing? Why are you taking this? You know, her blood sugars were perfect and it was like, or low. And he gave her, this doc almost killed her. And it's like, oh my God. The same thing with blood pressure meds. They'll put you on a blood pressure med, and the next thing you know, you can be on it forever. You still got high blood pressure? No, you ain't healthy now. I got real low. You know, you got to be careful. Pharmaceuticals are not botanicals. They used to be. Okay. Unfortunately, seizures continued every 3 months or so, and finals, tests, stress were such a trigger. All right. So you know emotions are triggers, right? Stress. Where's your stress gland? What do we say? Oh, the adrenals on top of the kidneys. Aha! Makes sense, huh? Yes. So you want to bring this young man up with the adrenals and make sure his kidneys are functioning. Dang on. Excuse me, guys. For the last year, his frequency almost seems cyclical, coming every 3 to 4 weeks. It makes me think they are hormonally related. See what I'm saying? But you kind of saw that at age 15, didn't you, with testosterone and stuff? But you can see if his levels are too high, but I think it's just the fact that you're instigating more acidosis with these acid steroids. And the remedy wouldn't be to mess with the steroids. The remedy would be to get your system cleaned out and get your organs and glands functioning properly. Well, the only way to do that is to bring in the proper chemistry and the proper tools that the divine made for that. Well, it ain't pharmaceuticals, I have news for you. They have their place, certain ones, but when you get to the botanical world, you have a whole new world of magic. Oh my God. Just magic. And anybody who doesn't think so is doing yourself a big injustice. So let me see here. I can tell a few days before he has them as he gets cranky and complaining about his poor life where he can't drive and be with friends, work a normal job and such. He is so desperately wants to be independent. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him, my God. So let's fix your young man up, right? So, well, you know, when I was reading that, okay, so you got to put him on the diet. And I didn't look at this video, but son, you got to go on a diet that's not acidic, because these diets can trip you into these things very easily. There's a couple things in your body that you got to fix up. And once you fix those, you'll be back to normal. No seizures, nothing left like that. Now, Mom, I don't know how well we're having some things with our antispasmodic formulas, but you need a good antispasmodic formula. Try to see if ours is helping him. My new line is due out in probably 2 months yet, but I developed a different antispasmodic. I think you guys will like that. But you need to keep him on an antispasmodic, also brain and nerve. Keep him on the brain and nerve formula. Probably wouldn't hurt to, if you can afford it, to add circulation, only because it moves blood. Blood is alkaline, so it moves blood more aggressively throughout the body. Very helpful. So you've got those 3 formulas that should be a sidebar to your protocol. Then I'm after kidneys, adrenals, endocrinology. You want to go after the parathyroid with a glandular. In my opinion, you want to go after, like I said, go after the bowel. He's got major malabsorption. Again, a lot of his nutrition isn't being absorbed, so that might have an impact on that as well. You got to clean the gut. This is Grand Central Station right here. You've got energy waves, you got nerve waves going everywhere off of this gut. As food is traveling through, you have an electrical release of foods, and then this corresponding movement of that electricity to the related organ or gland. Oh yeah, there's so much involved in the human body in terms of electrical currents from the very food you're eating or not. You can go on and on and on. That's why there's muscle testing. That's why you can muscle test different foods. And every time you muscle test on meat, you're going to go way down. Energy, vibration, consciousness is everything. Some people don't consider that when they consider the processing or whatever. You've got to consider that these, you might even have some consciousness. And you don't want to destroy it, or now you have a worthless formula or herb or whatever. We have tried multitude of alternative therapies such as acupuncture, nutritional response therapy, chiropractic, neurofeedback, binaural beats, prayer, Dr. Joe Dispenza's group healing, biogeometry, distance healing by supposed healers, and probably more I'm forgetting. Holy crap! Well, I will say this. You're a pretty good mom. You and Dad there, you guys are, I take my hat off to you. I mean, you're trying. But you got to get into the world of chemistry and the world of his body. Take a look at that and realize that your glands control everything. Right now, his gland that deals with calcium utilization is definitely involved. You can see the lacuna. You can see all of that. You can see the side effect of that, the prolapsing of the transverse bowel, and matter of fact, almost the pocketing of the ascending colon. You can tell, and also the sigmoid, and maybe even the lower part where the ileo valve is. You might find some prolapsing there even. So really important, this calcium channel. I can't even tell you, because you got your calcium-magnesium relationships that are essential, or seizures will happen. There's some connection to manganese in that way. The adrenals, of course, are neurotransmitters, so you want those. I would also teach him to breathe, deep breathe, just oxygenate the body. But I mean, but it does helpful, a little bitty helpful things. But what you're going down that mouth in food is everything. If you think for 1 minute that you can interface with anything in this world with the physical body and it's not chemistry and it won't affect you, then maybe you better start opening your consciousness up a little bit and taking a little deeper look at life. So right now, his diet is everything. You can pray till hell freezes over and still eat dead animals. You're still going to get sick. God doesn't say, well, you can break my laws and I'll just forgive you. That doesn't happen that way. No. And consciousness is detached. So, that pathway is being observed by the divine, watching every bit of it. And that's through you. So whenever you look, the divine is looking. Wherever you go, the divine is going. You are the divine incarnate. You are the one that sends all the stuff back home, so to speak. Yeah. So your actions reverberates and affects all of creation, believe it or not. Kind of like the rock throwing across the water, and you see it skipping, but you also see the ripples going out. But you've tried a lot of things, but you really have to get into the foods. And you probably have done that too, but you really have to get into the raw foods on this one. And a high fruit and berry diet. Essential, especially neuro. Now, I don't see nerve rings, so we're at a real big plus right there. Recently, he has been doing a detox after a chelation urine test showed that had neurotoxins such as heavy metals and microtoxins in his system. He is doing this through an MD we were suggested to try in Oregon named Dr. Thomas Gignelia or something. So far, it isn't working either. Yeah. However, we are not completed with it yet. Yeah, you can chelate the body. I'm just real careful with chelation therapies and people that think they know about that. Real cautious with that. What's your best chelation therapy in the world? Proper detoxification. And there's so many reasons for that. From hydration to astringent, you can go right on down the line. But it's the only way I know of truly. I've lived 53 years in this field. I've seen chelation therapies come and go. I've seen all kinds of therapies come and go, recirculate, go, recirculate, go. Urine therapy, back again. Oh, no, see you later. Back again. Okay. It's like a bad penny. It doesn't want to go away. But you've got to get in and regenerate. You've got to get in and detoxify these men. And I am just not a fan of chelation therapy. I think it sucks. I think you have to be careful with it. And there's different types. You want to be real careful how you mess with your blood. Because it isn't the blood that's the problem, is it? Right? Where is the problem? Lymphatically, always. Then it can become a nerve problem, a blood problem, or whatever. The blood's going to dump, as best it can anyway. Let me see. He's a teenager, so trying to get him to eat healthy 100% of the time is a challenge. Yeah. I get it. I'm surrounded with teenagers, grandchildren. All my grandchildren are teenagers. Well, not all of them. Some of them are big grown adults with a bunch of kids. Compared to most Americans, we are healthy. We buy organic, don't buy soda, candy, etc. He's very athletic and plays hockey. So really important to look at him in this parathyroid. And if he wants endurance, check see what his endurances are, because that's going to be the adrenal glands. But I don't see nerve rings. So that's a big plus, believe it or not, which hedges me more toward low calcium channels, parathyroid for sure. You see it in the connective tissue, you see it. See it in the bones. Don't forget the right hip and the leg, the right leg, the knee. Don't forget there's issues there. He's got to fix them, or that's where he's going to have his problems in athletics. And he doesn't want to go through that. He works out a lot, so loves his protein powders. Well, can't help him. Can't help him. Now, if he went and bought Muscles by Nature here, yeah, that's an alkaline protein slurry. That's all veggies. That's all heavy power packers. That would be the only way I would do it if I was him. With seizures and you're eating protein, son, not bright. Not bright. No. Get our Muscles by Nature, which is power packed by all kinds of big guys. This guy likes it. So if you want to be like this guy who trains Mr. Olympias, and I would move to Muscles by Nature and start getting in an alkaline slurry and getting your body cleaned out. Because you can't, not knowing what neurotoxicity you have, there's no antidote. Like there's no antidote for all the sulfur people have in them. There's just no antidote that we know of. I'm sure there's one out there. And then I researched asparagus root, right? And I put asparagus root because it takes out sulfur, supposedly. But now it irritates the kid. I mean, you got a lot of things going on you have to look at. So this is what I see from your son. Also, a lot of malabsorption going on there. I buy unnatured whey. God, throw that crap away. No, I buy unnatured whey from somewhere. We live in Alaska. And environmentally, our air, water, well water, and etc. are better than the States. Oh yeah, that's better. Heck yeah. I'm sure he's affected by all the video game. Well, see, that's another thing. Good, smart mom. Oh, honey, I really love your thinking. TV, video games. I've got a 75-inch TV, and I just have to spend short periods of time watching different things. Like I watch all the Alaska programs, believe it or not. I don't know why. I watch Life Below Zero, and then you got the Northern Territories, and you got the younger people and all that. So I watch all of that. Your Homestead Rescue guy from Alaska, his family. So that's true, but radiation could spawn some seizures, a certain buildup of radiation, because radiation in an acidic body, remember when you're acidic, things will build, radiation will build in you. You want to get rid of things, you got to get yourself alkaline, then everything goes in and out, nobody stays at home. But the reason all this chemistry is staying at home is people are glued. They're glued up with mucus, which is lymph stagnation. And all this chemistry, foreign chemistry, neurotoxicity, all of this, excitotoxins, hemiotoxins, keep on going down the line. They're in everything. And then all the plastics. I mean, it's a wonder. I'm amazed that the human form can still keep on going. So, I would watch that, sit away from the TV, don't sit in front of it. Video games, all that's very radiation, but I have no way to keep a young adult from, I know. the only way I found, just straight from the heart and be truthful with them. We've tried a lot of things. We keep trying. We keep working on ourselves. We haven't worked on fixing the problems, though, in the body, genetics and things like that, have you? And moving him into a deeper world of detox. Because if you have neurotoxins, I've never seen chelation therapy ever win the day on someone. Maybe some of you guys have, but not win the day from neurotoxicity. Okay. I just have not been able to find the cure. All what you do is put him on another pharmaceutical that has horrible side effects and just attempts to mask. Well, that's it. But that's what the medical field is. It's not his fault. That's his training and level of thinking. You're the mom coming out going, wait a minute, that don't sound right, because you're learning and growing. He's trapped in his conditioned thought, trying to help, but his field of learning is like this. You've opened up to all levels of learning as a mother and father. You're trying to find the answers of everything. So dig a little. You get the eyes. We already went over that. Parathyroid is a huge issue for this young man. I didn't see a lot of pituitary. So the endocrine gland formula, 2 dropperfuls twice a day at least is going to be recommended. Parathyroid, 10 milligrams, 1 a.m., 1 p.m. I would go that route. You go into the kidneys. If you can afford it, brain and nerve, antispasmodic, and circulation. If you can afford it on the side. That's going to bring more alkaline blood through the tissues. That's going to enhance parathyroid and calcium utilization. All those things is essential to pull someone out of seizures. I've had a few cases where it's really, really hard to do this. I had a 26-year-old, I don't know how she's doing now, 26 years old, seizing since she was, 4 to 7 months from vaccines. And we tried. The only thing that would help her was the alcohol antispasmodic. And that was helping. But, I mean, you've got to get into these poor people and really get in there. And when you're a teenager, like you said, Mom, I get it. Totally get it. I've got 2 boys and a whole bunch of grandpeople. And, only 1 or 2 are really eating halfway healthy. So I don't know what to say about it. All right, so that's what I see in here because it's just 2 life-affecting see symptoms, pharmaceutical horrible. However, we are about to consider it again because it's just 2 life-affecting to constantly have seizures. No kidding. I would be grateful for any help. You got it. One stressed out mom. Oh, Mom, listen, honey, relax. You only have a few options on this planet. You know the pharmaceuticals is no option. That's no option. Right? I mean, if you got to control something temporarily, okay, I buy that, all right? Surgery, pain, all right, I get all that. Your option is to figure out, well, I'm pretty sure it's neurotoxicity. It's been diagnosed that way, but I'm not sure, right? There is only one road that I know of. That's just me, though. Only one road to success. And most of you have been on it. There's no other road on this planet that's successful like that. And that is taking into consideration the condition and consciousness of your cells, genetically, and the condition of your fluids. And that's the human body right there. So by getting into the diet, it's essential for humans. You know, like it or not, the human is a frugivore. Now, I admit that this Dr. Alan Walker found that, I mean, he did he has an advanced electron microscope, looking at these little micro cracks and crevices in the teeth, and you can tell what type of diet that being was eating. So going back to 15, I know he's got 20 million years back, but in his 10, 12 to 15 million years, he's got the hominids, which are the pre-Homo erectus, which are the pre-Homo sapien. So he found that the hominids were all frugivores. The Homo erectus, however, showed more of a omnivorous tooth, which is very interesting as we move toward the Homo sapien then. So, irregardless, the Homo sapien is predominantly a frugivore. And by moving there, you start to see everything change to the benefit. And if you want to if you understand how the lymph system is, and you understand when it gets compacted, you start seeing swelling of lymph nodes and tumors and things like that, then apply that to toxic chemistry that's saturated in the lymph, that the blood is dumped into this lymph system. How does it get it out? And that's why you don't see a lot of success with chelation therapy and all that, because you're not paying attention to the system that's involved in this that can get rid of it for you. The blood can't get rid of it for you. It's not eliminative fluid. It's the kitchen. It doesn't have eliminative organs. So there's only one system you're going to go to with any type of toxicity. Snake bites, spider bites, chemical toxicity. There's only one. And that's your lymphatic system. And now look at this. Excuse me. Man, I need a detox. I've been working so hard. We got carpet going in. So we are going to bust butt into this week, the weekend, trying to move everything from our one clinic right next door. Thank God it's next door. Holy crap. Because I have double these bookcases in a storage. Oh, God. So it's going to be a lot of work. But I'm going to take you guys on a journey. I'm going to bring the cameraman in here and take you on a journey in our new place. Looks pretty good. But again, you got lymph nodes involved. You know the lymphatic system's backed up. And until you break that loose and you get, what's this? That's what your son has got to be doing. You've got to open up this kidney elimination channels, or you're just throwing pharmaceutical toxic chemistry in on toxic chemistry and trying to chelate it with minerals. You know, you've got hydration to consider with, you've got astringent to consider with, because you've got agglomerated lymphatic systems. You got swollen lymph nodes. This young man's got swollen lymph nodes all over. Well, how are you going to move anything out of the body when the sewer system that removes is not moving? That's why the success in all these things that you're seeing is minimal. Chiropractic's a good choice, because a lot of times this C-spine, and he's got a weakness in this C-spine, he can get it out, it can move out of shape, and then he can seize from that even. So again, going after that parathyroid in this case, very essential. Going after the lymphatic system, paracentral, real important if you want to get him out of seizures. At the same time, you're fixing the calcium channel there. At the same time, you're picking up neurotransmitters. So you're going in all kinds of directions where you see the seizing problems, right? And if it is a neurotoxicity, you're going to open up that channel to get rid of them. I mean, you're just trying to go in, the doctors with chemistry, and trying to play and pick this out of you. There's a whole system and a route channel that this goes. And that's what you got to work on. All right, let's do one more. Because I'm still working on a couple of formulas. I've got a head-to-toe cleansing tea. Where do you try this one? I've got lemon peel and orange peel in it, so it should taste better. Yeah, that's some good stuff coming out. This is Dan. Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan. Danny boy. Look at this, guys. How am I looking at this? It has to be this way, right? Yeah. Oh, he's got both of them. Look at that. And look at that blood vessel. Look at that. And it's going right up here to the brain area. Look at this. Pointing either to here or this spot here. Look at all this brown stuff. Holy crap. Now, is that a chemical? Or is that chronic lymph? It would seem strange to be chronic lymph in an area. When you look down under the brown, you see an awful lot of thick lymph. And I'm going to put your attention to this area right here. See how thick that looks underneath this black brown? Looks like it's real thick. This could just be a targeted area of weakness there that it does have a chronic level of lymph, but I think it's in something ingested. Look at how it's all the way to the pupil and around the pupil. That's the stomach, right? So it suggests to me that it was an ingestible thing that saturated that part of the body. I think, all right, these are not marked, so I think this is the left eye. What do you think? I'm thinking it is. I mean, I could do like this and it could be the right. I could do like this and it'd be the left. So I can't tell you. It's unmarked. So if this is the left eye, let me look and see if I can tell. Yeah. Generally, you can tell, all right, because the small bowel area is smaller between the outside wall of the intestines to the pupil. Whoops. Where on the colon side, it's wider. So I'm going to suggest that this is a right eye. And then this one is the left. So let's just say that that's the trouble, because you can read them wrong. You can read them wrong if you're looking at the wrong eye. But as one thing is safely said here, similar to the other young man, take a look at the wall there. This is the autonomic nerve wreath, they call it in iridology. I disagree with that name. Whoops. This is the bowel wall. Look at that thick rope. That is the intestinal wall. And that is related to this black, or brown actually, ring right around the outside of the pupil. And that's a malabsorption ring. And you can relate how size of that is to how thick this is. And the right side of the body is heavily lymphatic up. Basically at an acute level, most of this is white, so that's acute. But look, you can see some of the traces of this brown, which makes me think chemical. Skin down, you got a skin ring for sure. So if this is the left side, I'm just going to say, I'm going to read it as if it is. If I'm wrong, let me know. And we'll reread them. But we've got a chest wall on the left side here, upper chest wall here, that's working on deteriorating. So I'm looking at, parathyroid, for sure, parathyroid. There we go, right side, parathyroid. Because you do see some prolapsing. See this? See how this is prolapsing down toward the pupil? I'm going to fix this up off so I can get on a board and show you better. But the left side the same way. So in my opinion, probably a chemical, but it does accentuate. Now, you know what's interesting to me? Take a look at this, guys. Nerve rings. But you don't see them outside of this brown. So, does that mean this is a strong neurotoxin that created in this area myelin sheath suppression? I mean, there it is, and you don't see it over here, do you? You don't see any nerve rings here or down here. But right in that area, this is fascinating to me. I want to keep these eyes. It's fascinating. Just fascinating. So left side, you got a leg going on there. Your kidney's chronic. Your leg is chronic. You've got some chronic hip weaknesses on that left side. Now, this is if this is the left side. If it's the right side, you still have hip, leg, and kidney. How old is this person? Oh, 46. But all in all, don't you think it's pretty good genes? I mean, you only see a few of these lacunas. You only see a few. Pretty good genes. So this could be a strong person. They just fix elimination. Skin down, kidney down. So fix elimination and you've got pretty good genes. You'll pull yourself out of that. This weakness over there is, I think, your right arm. It looks to be right arm. If this is gallbladder, be careful. See how that's trapped right up in the wall there of the colon? That's the gallbladder. That's real close to the arm. I think that's the arm. And you get in the chest wall. You got a little weakness right there in the chest wall there. That's near the breast area. Chest area, even if it's a male. Okay. So, I mean, this looks pretty good. I mean, you got some throat weakness, parathyroid weakness on the right side, upper C-spine weakness, upper T-spine weakness. But you're either coccyx or bladder there. And then on the, you got more weaknesses on the left side. Your left side is if this is the left side, okay, this is the weaker side genetically for sure. More lymphatic, also the brown stagnation of that. I still say that's some type of chemical. And probably an ingested one through the stomach. But it's just an opinion. Like I say, the spleen, chest wall, you definitely need to utilize calcium better. No question about it. Now, you got some bronchial trunk issues. So you might have some bronchitis during detox. You could strengthen your heart. It wouldn't hurt. Minor pituitary. A little bit back of the neck, left side here. No question. Cerebellum, a little mastoid. Got a lot of congestion in your left ear. That's a nice picture. I'm going to take these pictures. I have to tell. You don't get those. But isn't it interesting to see the nerve rings where that brown is? So is that a neurotoxicity that's suppressing the myelin sheath function in that area, but you don't see it in any of the other areas? How interesting. How interesting. But it would be one to show you if that is a chemical, real probable that it has devastating effects upon tissue. Highly suppressive effects on tissue. Hi, Dr. M. You did my left eye once around 8 years ago in a video you still have on YouTube. Oh, wow. That's crazy, isn't it? Damn. On your old abandoned channel. Well, we didn't abandon it. They abandoned us. They didn't like truth. It's hard to take it. You know, take it like a man. Truth is what it is, you guys. Eat it and chew on it and spit it out then. Here is the link, and my eye begins around 34.40. So I'll show that if you guys want to look at his eye there. Right here. Okay. Well, out of all the things you saw in the left eye with the brown... it's the left eye! Yeah. With the brown all over the blue, there didn't seem to be any signs of the issues I have now. Insofar as brain lesions, for example, which I believe are signatory of neurological conditions, which is the issue I believe I have. With the exposure of the nerve rings in that brown, I'm in total agreement with you. Now, how you get any lesions, How many sides of chemistry? 2. All right. So which side of chemistry do you think creates brain lesions? Oh, acids, right? So what system does acids dealt with in the human body? The lymphatic system. So obviously when your lymphatic system's backed up, your acid removal system, then you can't remove acids from the cells. These acids build up. Then you get the word inflammation. Then you see the swelling. Then you see your septic tank swelling up, your lymph nodes. You know, boom, 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 boom. And then you see kidney failure. And you start to see the lower back. You start to see everything that you would when you have lymphatic problems and kidney problems from that. You see all that. There's no guesswork. So, if you have brain lesions, which we've had tons and tons of them, Lou Gehrig's, MS, Parkinson's, most of you guys have brain lesions. I've had up to 9, I think, maybe even more, 9 brain lesions in a case. They all heal. Everything heals in an alkaline slurry or environment. So what would be the order of the day? Get the acids out. And this one thing with this brown, I would be interesting. You would need to go on a real high fruit diet, a fast almost, to pull all this out. But I'd like to see where if this comes out your urine or your stool. You should see a little of both, my opinion. You should see this brown stuff in your urine. You might even want to do some dry fasting to pull this stuff out. Just a thought. But I agree with you. So put yourself on brain and nerve to back that up. At the same time, you got to go on lymphatics, kidneys. You got to go after your lymph system because you're malabsorbed. You got a huge malabsorption issue going on there, and the parathyroid is showing itself. You see that in prolapses. So again, calcium is a major mineral for nerve transmission too. So again, fixing the parathyroid fixes better nerve transmission, skeletal, connective tissue. You can go on and on and on with that. And then its relationship with manganese and magnesium, particularly magnesium. Possible ALS. Yeah, again, dig in. We've never lost an ALS case. I know that one chiropractor's wife I told you about. I don't know about her. Remember the one with the dad? I think she was from Lithuania or somewhere there. And let's put it this way. That father and that daughter shouldn't be together, but God put them together to get the karma done. But the daughter's getting super beat up on it. She can't move because of that. And until she gets rid of that, in my opinion, now this has been a lot of years ago, so I'm just regressing. She's going to have a rough way to go. That has a stranglehold on her nervous system. Remember I told you she was walking, went over to visit her dad, came back not walking. You know, it's in a healer's face that the emotional side of life is a vital part of one's health and that the adrenal glands are the major players in that. So then when the adrenals go, not only do you see the neurologicals grow, you see the sugars go, you see the minerals go, and you see the kidneys go. Therefore, you see the lymphatic system going. Holy crap, those sweetheart adrenal glands. Oh, man, the things that they do. And then all your mineral utilizations and the things that they do. Holy crap, man, does this ever stop? No. Life is ongoing. One thing touches another. I'm 46 years old. I've got very little strength left in my arms and legs. I'm petrified. It's ALS, and you might be right. I mean, it's just a title. Remember that. That's just a title for a neurological condition. But, okay, so you got a little going back of the head here on the left side, right? Right side, not so much, man. So that's good. But you got a lot of lymph stagnation. You got a lot of inflammation in the back of the head. Center brain, you have a spot on the left, couple spots there. I mean, if you're headed for a brain lesion, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5, 6 maybe. But then, but these are areas that are broken down from acids. That's all that is. So if you want to rebuild a brain lesion or any other lesion in the body, what do you have to do? Remove the acids. And there's only one system that does that. That's your lymphatic system. Nice eyes. So, bro, get on that. Dig them. Get on a grape diet. Live on them. Whatever. Dig in on fruits and berries. You can have some melons. Don't do the vegetables. Brain and nerve. Circulation would be helpful. Getting blood moving aggressively. That brings alkaline chemistry into these stagnant areas. That's why I use circulation formulas. So you got brain and nerve to deal with that. Enhance nerve performance and function. But then you're going after the lymphatic. You're going after the problem. You're going after the lymphatic system. And my guess is that's a big neurotoxin. So you're going to be going after that. You want that brown out of your eye. And I don't know what it was 8 years ago, but that needs to come out. And there is a doorway for that out. Once it's in there, it's not permanent. Okay, so I haven't been raw in that time, no, but I've been raw and fasting the last 3 months with a few cooked food slip-ups here and there. Exactly what you're on it now, bro. You're on it. And that's what you got to do. You got to get on that, and you got to ride that horse. I don't care how it bucks, you're going to stay on that horse. I want to hit. No, I want the brain lesions gone. Make that your priority, your neurological priority, because there's no question that it is hellville neurologically. When you can't move anymore, you can't transfer yourself on a toilet and somebody has to help you, life doesn't get pretty. So it pays to dig in and to ride that ride until you don't have a problem anymore. Till the body totally fixes itself. And you can use that botanical train to do that. You need to work on the gut. You need GI broom, all that kind of stuff. You need to go after the kidneys, parathyroids. Get that parathyroid glandular, 1 a.m., 1 p.m. I like that. It's a nice little rhythm there. I didn't see much going on in the pituitaries, but you still want to have the endocrine gland formula. And I would still pop 2 dropperfuls twice a day. And if you want more endo power, go up to 3 times or more. Been on GI Renew, good deal, 5. All right, so listen. I want to kind of talk about that because it kind of hit me. If you move well without taking any bowel formulas, then you want number 1 as a cleaning agent. It inspires pancreatic and hepatic function. Anti-inflammatories, all of that. If you want to pull more aggressively, GI broom, no question. If you're not moving your bowels but every other day, then number 2 means you're not going but every 2 days, then you take number 2. That's simple. And that's going to be the same way with these new bowel formulas. Same way 3. If you don't go for have bowel movement for 3 days, take number 3, and so forth and so on, up to number 5. If you're moving, you don't want to take number 5. That's when cascara or any herb that's meant for movement, cathartics and stuff like this, you're taking too much for something you don't need to. See, and that's where people miss and misunderstand herbology and these herbs. Dosage is everything. Cascara is an incredible herb. And done right, you will no addiction, no nothing like that. You have nice movements every day. But the whole goal is that you establish your own peristalsis, meaning you got to break loose any lymph stagnation because that's hardening of the bowel wall. Increase neural transmission, that's adrenal glands. And so while you're doing that, you're cleaning up, and you're always going to titrate off. The GI broom is more of a cleaner, but if you're taking a bowel formula to help you move as well, your goal is to get raw, to get the cleaning up, to get the neurological up, and to then titrate and then go on your own. These are herbs you shouldn't have to titrate much because they're just not addicting as far as I've seen in all these years. But people, and I've run across this, people think number 5 thinking it's going to clean better because no, that's not true. It just causes greater peristaltic action, which can then be problematic. You don't need to push that. And then with a parathyroid weakness, you give yourself hemorrhoids and all kinds of things like that. I've also some bowel issues. No kidding. We see that, which have gotten better. Pains in the left rib area with a partial blockage. But did we find something on his left rib? Yeah. Weakness on that left rib. Did find that. I love iridology, don't you? You're working it out, man. You're working it out, Dan. Yeah, damn. Been on GI Renew 5. Yeah, some circulation. Recently started. Selenium. No. In the wonder that it's a low thyroid. You still don't want to take selenium. Again, think of chemistry as a family. You do not want to take one over another, or you'll get your chemistry out of balance. To get your chemistry in balance, believe it or not, you have to eat it in balance. You can't take individual constituents and pull yourself into a homeostasis. That's bullshit. You got to take the chemistry as a whole and let your body get itself into homeostasis. And it will. And if you have the low thyroid, you definitely have low parathyroid. And if your basal temperature is under your arm in the morning before you get out of bed in the morning, is not in the upper 97s, yes. So then, I think the endocrine gland formula is enough to bring that up for you. If not, I generally not always recommend a thyroid glandular, but you could get a real small one, like 10 to 20 milligrams maybe. But better off to use the botanical side for that when it's something small. Your parathyroid needs to be hit a little bit. Okay, it warmed up, very low thyroidism, and that has actually warmed me up. Was very cold before. I also put weight on very easily from the slightest. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, because your metabolism is off and your adrenals, my friend. Cook food straight on the belly, which I believe is also a sign of low thyroid. I'm currently on gut herbs, circulation, adrenal glandular 400s, and licorice root. Low blood pressure? Ooh. Yeah, you want to do that. You want to get your kidneys filtering, son. Dan, you got to get your kidneys filtering and get this lymph moving, because that's the only way you're going to get rid of brain lesions. I'm just telling you. I suppose my biggest question is, do my eyes show something that's serious? If you're thinking you're getting brain lesions or have been diagnosed that way, hell yes. Seriously. But DC parathyroid and definitely heavy lymph problems, malabsorption big time. Be careful around the heart area. Need to strengthen that up. There is genetics there. Definitely some bronchioles and stuff. So you might get some coughing. You got a lymph node swollen in the upper left lung. But, just keep cleaning and digging that out. Mm-hmm. And you will be successful, young man, because you're doing good as it is. I think a lot of you are just kicking butt. I'm proud of a lot of you guys. And getting it. Like this mother, she's really trying to find remedy for her child. Don't blame her. Our children, that's the future humans on this planet. So it'd be nice if we brought up some higher beings on this planet instead of, all this low consciousness stuff they're going through. Everybody wants to kill someone else and others. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to be moving. I wanted to get this done because the rest of this week is Move City. Oh my God. But I'll take you on a tour of our new place. I'll get the cameraman over here and we'll take a tour and I'll show you what all we've been doing. You'll like it.